My name is John Broad, and I'll be giving a speech, my persuasive speech on why you need to wear your seatbelt when you drive. Do you really feel that you've lived your life to the fullest, that you really accomplished everything you can accomplish? Why would you simply take the risk of not wearing your seatbelt? You drive every single day, no matter where you have to go. It's an ongoing task. Is it really that big a deal? Do you feel that it's uncool or unsafe, or uncool or uncomfortable, that you need to not wear it and risk your life? Do you really want to just become a statistic like the 2.2 million people that nearly die each year from not wearing their seatbelts? My personal experience with car accidents was on September 1st, 2010, where I wasn't driving at the time, but the driver wasn't paying attention to the road very well, and we were exceeding about speeds of 45 to 55 miles an hour, and we ended up hitting a low shoulder, and it was a very gravel type road, and it freaked her out, and she swerved real hard left, going into oncoming traffic. She then proceeded to swerve real hard right to get out of oncoming traffic, and we ended up rolling the car 4 times, landing upside down. We got checked out by the ambulance and everything, and they stated that realistically there was a 90% chance that we would have been dead or had a fatal neck injury or spinal injury or even brain injuries if we weren't wearing our seatbelts. On the other hand, my uncle wasn't as lucky. It was about 15 years ago, and he was driving back from work, and he'd fallen asleep at the wheel. He stayed up all night, he worked night shift, and he drove off a 100-foot cliff. He totaled his car and suffered severe brain injuries. And it was just because he was not wearing a seatbelt. The only thing that really did save him was that he was asleep at the wheel. When his body was asleep, he was able to take a lot more impact and able to move around and a lot more limber. They stated that if he was wearing a seatbelt, he would not have caused any of those problems. He would be able to live a normal life. He can't live on his own. He simply is almost like a vegetable. And it's just unneeded. Seatbelts are one of the best protections you have. 70% of deaths are caused from not wearing a seatbelt in car accidents. 60% of passengers from the ages of 16 to 19 die from not wearing a seatbelt, and 51% of them are the drivers from 16 to 19. They also pass because they're not wearing seatbelts. Over 15,000 deaths each year can be stopped by just wearing your seatbelt. Seatbelt reduce 45% of fatal injuries each year from head-on collisions, and airbags do help in situations in car accidents, but they're only really beneficial if you apply them with your seatbelt wearing correctly. So if you have it, wrapped around your shoulder, or not wearing it all, it does no effect, because multiple car accidents are more of a multi-car thing. So if you are hit head-on, you're most likely to get hit again, and then the airbag deflates, and you either get thrown from the vehicle or in serious injury. And besides just the risk of losing your life and everything, the cost money-wise for not wearing a seatbelt is huge. $23 million is spent each year on someone that does not wear their seatbelt in a car accident, and compared to $12 million for people that do wear the car accident. So it's a huge $11 million difference whether you wear your seatbelt or not. On average, about $5,000 is spent more on a person that does not wear their seatbelt to someone that wears their seatbelt when they're in an accident. Patients are normally hospitalized about 5 days longer than someone that does wear their seatbelt. They had taken a study out in Newton Wesley Hospital where seatbelts, with someone who wore their seatbelts, it cost about $500 for all their medical needs and attention, compared to if they didn't wear it, it was about $1,500. That was one taken from 135 accidents, so not a whole lot of accidents, and that could be much higher compared on the severity of the accidents. There's been a lot of laws that have been enforced to wear seatbelts. Most of them are more like you have to pay a $25 ticket, nothing real huge, so people aren't really taking effect to it, and it's not the biggest deal to them. But is it really worth hurting yourself or hurting your loved ones from you being in a serious injury and not being able to do things you can in everyday life, or even losing your life? Now, is it really worth feeling uncomfortable and barely not being cool? I feel it's not, so I simply would just buckle up and not become a statistic and make the same mistake as others. And I have a graph that lives saved by seatbelts each year. It ranges from 1975 all the way to 2008. As you can see, in 1975, people were probably not wearing their seatbelts as much as nowadays, and that saved 100,000 people that year. In 2008, it saved 250,000. So it shows that seatbelts really are effective and need to be worn.